Thanks for your support as a channel member, Anna Frederick Samuelson. Well, I didn't go into this January transfer window expecting to sign 8 players and have a club record sale, but sometimes things just turn out that way in my world. Hello and welcome to Club 3, Part 25 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have 2 Premier League games for you. We're at home against Liverpool and away against Southampton. Since you're last with me, lots of news. Firstly, didn't get any of the jobs that we interviewed for in the last episode. Not that I turned them down. They didn't want me. I also had an interview with Southampton, who I even, or at the time, they were bottom of the league, I think. But we've had interviews with West Ham, Southampton, Watford and Norwich since the start of the last episode, I think, certainly this season, and all 4 of them have turned me down. So those of you saying that they're all sideways moves and I should hold out for a big club, that should give you some context for just how far away we are from a big club. And I know there are a few people asking if I'll choose to go abroad. I'm not actively looking for jobs at all. I'm very happy at Barnsley. This feels like a press conference. But if a job in another country comes up, I will absolutely take it. I feel like I'm a long way away from actually applying for anything. I've not applied for a job. Have I applied for anything in this series so far? I don't think I have. I don't think I've applied for a job at all yet in this series. So I certainly don't plan on starting now. And as you can see, January, a very up and down month. Let's stick the LOLLUJO view on, which still inexplicably never stays on there. We were doing all right in the league. We've had 3 wins. They were very important. Southampton, Villa and West Ham in the league. 3 very important wins, 9 crucial points. But then we really struggled to get past Wickham in the FA Cup 3rd round. Got absolutely smashed by Tottenham in the FA Cup 4th round. But then still picked up the odd few Premier League points here, beating Watford and beating Wolves. So it means in the Premier League, we find ourselves 25 games in 7th place, in a Europa League qualification spot. But more importantly, we are at 41 points. We've hit our points goal for the season. So from here on in, it's all easy peasy. As you can see, we've already delighted with the Premier League finish. We've passed the expectations in the 2 cups. It really is all about building for next season, as far as I'm concerned. If we manage to end up in Europe, it will be fun, but obviously we're not going to win anything. So it really is a case of just starting the summer rebuild early, and we've definitely done that with this transfer window. It has been a big one, most notable probably for the sale of Fraser Hornby to Wolves for £22 million. I wasn't actively looking to sell Fraser Hornby. He's obviously been a very important player for us, but as somebody who we signed for just £2.6 million, made an immediate impact, was very much a part of us not getting relegated there, part of us getting promoted there, but he's never really looked like a Premier League striker and has only started 5 games this year. To get £22 million for him was crazy, and that offer came in quite early in the window. So I knew that money was coming in and started to spend accordingly. But also we've sold Maggior, big loss on him, £1.4 million for a player we spent nearly £8 million on, but he's not played at all this year. Just wanted to get his wages off the books. Freddie Woodman's gone on loan to Newcastle for the season. He didn't want to be here anymore. He was fed up being back up to Hilson, which, to be fair, I signed him as a star player and he never really started regularly. So I think his time was always numbered. I can hear the cheer from the comments section now because Rinomata has gone to League One, where he's an absolute star. Look how good he is in League One. 3 goals, 1 assist, 2 man of the matches from his first 7 games for Hull. Down in League One, they must be top of the league, surely. I can't believe they're able to spend that kind of money on that calibre of player. I know everyone mocks him a little bit down in the comments section, but just look at his career. From breaking into the Reading team in the Championship, he's been virtually ever present for both us and Reading across the Championship and the Premier League. 2 full seasons in the Premier League, like 7 years of Championship football. Yes, he's not played at all this year, but he's still only 28, so to drop down to League One is mad. But he'll be an absolute superstar there, as he's already proving. Snedden, the backup goalkeeper we panic signed in the summer, has gone to Bournemouth, who've also given him the number 1 shirt. That's 2 Premier League number 1 shirts that man's been given without ever playing a Premier League game. And we've also loaned Leighton Clarkson out to Chesterfield, which again shows you the standard of him, really. Signed him for quite a lot of money, never really broke into the team, and he's now playing at probably his level down in League One, while we still pay £15,000 of his £20,000 a week wages. But the more important thing is the players we've brought in to replace all this lot, and we have gone nuts with it. Ivan Vivas, you already knew about him. He's the guy I told you about in the last episode. He's our new central midfielder, proper natural box-to-box midfielder, Argentinian under-20 international, going to be a star. I was umming and ahhing about whether to sign Anjorin as well, and decided, you know what, with Hornby going, we'll just bring him in. It's an extra body for us to have. He's a very good attacking midfield player, gives some proper competition to Gudger and Barlow, and can play up front, can play in central midfield. He's English, so lots of reasons to bring him in. And then I found this guy, Carlos Alberto Serna. He's on loan from Manchester City for the rest of the season. If I'd have known I was getting him, I perhaps wouldn't have signed both of the previous midfielders. But to have this guy on loan, he is going to be a superstar. He's our best midfielder by miles now. So we've got a very good midfield. We've also signed a new goalkeeper, Dominic Ryman, 28-year-old German, 3-star current ability, which puts him roughly on a level with Hilson. He's come in, played a couple of games. I think Hilson's probably still my first choice, but as soon as Woodman asked to leave, that's when I went out and got Ryman. In fact, the dates actually match up with that one, unlike my justification for buying Andrew a month before Hornby went. He was very strongly linked with lots of moves. I kind of knew Hornby was going all month. And we also signed another keeper. This one's the replacement for Snedden as our third choice. Will Huffer is 27 years old, 2.5-star current ability, comes in from Villa. Has been a regular Championship goalkeeper for a couple of years, Leeds, a couple of seasons, then with Villa. So actually a little bit of calibre as a third choice keeper this time, which I can live with. Kane Ramsey continues my policy of signing young English players who aren't so young anymore. So he's, I think, a former Chelsea youth player. Originally Chelsea, then Southampton. He spent the last few years playing in the MLS, but he can play right back, he can play centre back. He's a natural wing back at right back. There's always the rumours that Jordan Williams could be leaving, and there's always clubs after him. So I think we've finally got a proper replacement for him. We do have 4 very good right backs now: Ramsey, Williams, Scott, Livramento not even shown on there. But we've got plenty of strength in depth at right back. Nigel Carrick is one my head of youth development brought in from Sunderland, young left winger, 18 years old, 3.5-star current ability. Probably not ever going to be anything special, but at 900 grand, he's someone who can come in and hopefully go for a profit in a few years' time. And then to finish things off, my actual replacement for Hornby, which is what makes it a superb piece of business, I think. Daniel Vanna is a 21-year-old current Czech international striker, 3.5-star current ability, 4.5-star potential ability. He's as good as Scuck. We now have 2 of them currently operating at Premier League level. Massive upgrade on Hornby, and at a fraction of the price. He's not played yet because he's only just arrived. But it brings our total season spending as Barnsley to £123 million. And we've sold £50 million off a player. Unbelievably, club finances still not looking too shabby. Still got a positive balance, just. And the projection still positive as well. Although, again, just. If we got relegated, it would be a disaster for this club. But thankfully, we're not going to do that this season. So, after all of that, this is what our team looks like going into today's game against Liverpool. And this is kind of the thing for the rest of the season. We don't really need to win any more games. It would be nice to, but we're really trying to decide who are the players who are going to form part of next season's team as we look to have a proper push for the Europa League next year. Serna, I would love to get on loan again next year. I think we'll probably struggle, but if we can't, we know Vivas can just come in and play in that role perfectly adequately. We're trying to decide if Stockbridge can make it as a deep line playmaker. If not, as good as he is, I don't think he fits into the system that we play. So I'm hoping, looking at him, I know we don't look at the attributes very often, but looking at the attributes for a deep line playmaker, There's no obvious reason why he shouldn't be able to do one. I guess trying to do it as a defensive role, his big issue is not being able to tackle. But that's something he can learn, surely. And then again, is Andrew the man there? Is one of the other youngs like Goodger, who've obviously got Tillman. Chong, I think, is probably done. But there's lots of options here now, which it's starting to look more and more like a Premier League squad. So the team for today, we've got Ryman in goal, a back four of Pieri, Stevens, Tanganga and Ramsey, Cerner and Stockbridge in midfield, Denton, Angerin and Okoflex behind Skuck up front. We are at home against Liverpool. Let's go and win a football match. Stockbridge, although I'm talking about him maybe not making it as a player for us, captaining the team today, because we're slowly but surely getting to the point where players who came in the last year are amongst our longest serving players. And we want to assertively owe Liverpool after what happened last time. I think if I was Tanganga or Stevens, to be fair, if I was either of them looking at this today thinking, that kid who arrived in the summer, that 21-year-old kid, he's captain. We're both established centre-backs who've been here like 4 years. What's that all about? Denton with a good opportunity in the area. It's saved and Ramsey tries to keep it in but can't quite do so. I need a sip of my beverage or I'm not going to be able to continue to talk. Bear with me a moment. How unprofessional doing that in the middle of a video. By the way, can of water. Got that with my meal deal yesterday. Yes, it's still on my desk. Who knew you could buy water in cans now? What has the world become? And it's the same price as a can of pop. Someone explain cans of water to me. I bought it for the novelty. It's got an awesome reseal. It's got a resealable thing on top, so you can reseal it. Why don't all cans have that? That now doesn't leak. And there is water in there. Why doesn't Coke have that on? That is brilliant. Right, 0-0 in the first half. After I've done my advert for water. If only I had a vlog channel where I could do stuff like this on. But no, I want to talk about water here, and I want you lot to listen to water here. I think 0-0 would be absolutely fine in this game. Looking at the Liverpool team, although they're only just above us in the league, it's a 7-point gap. There's clearly 6 good teams and then the rest of the Premier League. And we're trying to lead the chasing pack, but I think we're only in that position temporarily. Right, we're going to make a few changes. We're going to bring Barlow on there. We're going to bring Brown on there and swap him over to there. Oh, I've put player instructions on. I must have done that last night. What a hero. Good old Kev. Good old living room Kev on his laptop. Finally getting bored of having to change the player instructions and having it done automatically. What a genius that boy is. Tanganga plays it forward, looking for Skuck, but it ends up with Barlow, who tries to play Skuck in. It's a bit of an ambitious through ball, but Skuck is not giving up. Just chasing. We've got the new boy who we could potentially look to bring on, but I don't really want to take Skuck off in a game like this because he's been such an important player for us this year that it doesn't feel like the game to bring on a debutant. Is that offside? We've gone over to the referee. I feel like this is offside. We've gone over to the little telly and it is offside. Excellent stuff. We don't need to see a replay. We believe you. I think I am going to bring the new striker on. Give him 15 minutes. What's his name? Vanna. So he can come on. He wants to be a pressing forward, does he? Well, that fits into this gegenpress very nicely. Let's get creative. Get the ball up to Vanna. Or Varna? No, it's going to be Vanna. Vanna and Skuck. And hopefully he'll announce himself as a superstar immediately, the way Skuck did on his debut. It doesn't look like he's going to. But I think, regardless, he can't be as inept at finishing as Hornby was. We played against Wolves the day we sold him to them, and he was up front for them, and it was so lovely knowing there was no goal threat from Wolves, and there really wasn't. He gets into some lovely positions, but you just know he's going to miss almost all of the chances that he gets. Hopefully, we're not going to get the same issue arise with Vanna. I really hope we don't. But 0-0 against Liverpool. I don't think we can complain too much about that. Decent result. Who are we playing next? We are playing Southampton, one of the many teams who've turned me down for a job this year. 3 changes for the Southampton game then, as Panzo and Williams now available. I think they were both suspended for the last game. They come back into the team. Goodger, who is now fit again, comes back in with Angerin dropping down to the bench. Let's submit that team. For some reason, my hand went over to stop recording now. No, Kev, you were trying to hit continue. Goodness me, this is what happens when I'm back into recording on the day they're out again. It breaks my mind. Are we instructions? I thought for a minute there we weren't doing team instructions. I've got it set for my assistant manager to automatically do it. I've never noticed that ask assistant button before. I assume it's always been there. I've just not been paying attention. But I did panic for a minute there that we'd done 3 or 4 years at Barnsley and not done a single opposition instruction the whole time. Ryman, look at that confidence from Ryman. You don't get that from Hilson. I'm still not sure which one of the two is going to be my goalkeeper going forward. I suspect if we're going to do another few years at Barnsley, which the amount of clubs that have turned me down suggests we might, I think I'm going to need to sign a proper goalkeeper. And I don't think Hilson or Ryman, I don't think either of them are going to become that 4-star goalkeeper who can take us into Europe. But I think it's good to have a couple of solid options, which I'd hoped Woodman would be, but he was never quite there. Although the game on the suggested squad thing, the game actually suggested Woodman for my first England squad, and I was just like, he doesn't even play for me. Get him out of there. But it's interesting that the AI thinks Woodman was one of England's better goalkeepers at a time when he couldn't get in my team, and he's probably starting for Newcastle. I haven't looked. But it will turn out that I should have been playing Woodman all this time, even though I always thought my favourite was Hilson. Lovely free kick from Ward-Prowse, puts Southampton 1-0 up. And, I mean, it's like I said before, it's not a big deal if we lose games like this now. But Southampton are a team, firstly, who've turned me down for a job this year, so I feel like I've got a point to prove against them. But secondly, it is the kind of team that we are supposed to be beating. What I don't want to do is take my foot off the pedal to the point where we start losing games like this, have a really poor second half of the season, and go into next season with all our momentum gone. And that's when you start to struggle. That's when we'll find ourselves getting relegated in our 3rd season in the Premier League. And no one understands how it's possible. But I feel like I've done that before. Maybe in my stream save, possibly with Deeping Rangers, possibly with LOLLUJO FC a few years back. But I'm pretty sure we had a save where I had a couple of seasons in the Premier League, then got relegated because it all started to go wrong then. So I do need to just keep my eye on not losing too many of these kind of games. Ramsey's picked up an injury, and despite having 4 right backs at the club, none of them on the bench. So Stevens is going to have to play at right back. Gudger's in here though, and I think that's probably offside. I'm looking over at the linesman who is wafting his fancy handkerchief around. And yeah, it has been given as offside. It was a tidy little finish from Gudger. Let's have is he offside? I mean, he kind of is, but I think it's a little harsh. I would have let that goal stand if I was making the decisions. Cerner with the free kick. That's the one thing we're missing with having Barlow in the team is his free kick delivery and corner delivery. So I might need to find a way to shoehorn him back in somehow. Maybe he can play right back. What a finish from Denton. He's hit that so hard that it sort of bounced off the goalkeeper at an awkward enough angle to end up in the back of the net. I'm surprised that's not gone down as an own goal. I guess it's because it was going in anyway. But a 6th goal of the season now for Denton. And Stuart Denton is slowly but surely turning into an absolute superstar for us. He's Mr. Consistency. I mean, it's such a breath of fresh air having a consistent left winger after Chong for all those years and Occo Flex. When he was playing out here as well. I know he's now over the other side. But Denton's just consistent, always seems to have a decent game. But I thought he was going to do something really dumb there, but he didn't. Look how calm he was. But he's starting to weigh in with more and more goals as well. And very young, English. I think he's only 21. We've got a proper player on our hands here in the shape of Denton. Cross comes over, looking for Occo Flex, and it does go just over from the header. And I'm looking down at that bench again, thinking Vivas and Vanna are players I want to get on in this second half to have a proper look at them. Right, things haven't gone right so far. We'll say unlucky, although really we should be doing better than we are against Southampton. Looking at the stats, they've had 4 good chances to our 0. They've had more shots. We're edging possession slightly, but Occo Flex is in here, and it's a good effort. That I think the goalkeeper saved that. Right? Yeah, it was one of those where it could have been a save, it could have been a crossbar, but it's a save. We get the corner, Gudger to deliver, and Scuck can't direct his header goalwards. I thought that might have gone out for a corner because it was so wayward, but no, apparently that was him attempting to score a goal, and it went out, not even in the penalty area. Is this a red card here? It is Ward-Prowse, having been the goal scorer for Southampton and their key player and captain, has now been sent off. Tanganga with a flick on from the subsequent free kick. And what's happened? I thought it's gone back to the referee pointing for a penalty, but actually it was them attempting to do a counter-attack. And now we need to counter their counter. Tanganga's got it again, plays it forward to Cerner, who's got space to look up, pick a pass, finds Stevens charging down the right wing. We've been playing him as a centre-back all this time. How wrong could I be? It was a decent run. Well, it was a very good run. Decent effort from Stevens, but as you would expect, it did go wide. Stevens, I think, is a former Southampton player, isn't he, in real life? Is that who he plays for? I think. Or played for? We need to check now. Check my football knowledge. Yeah, I knew he was a Southampton player. See, that's why he's doing fancy things against his former club, showing them that they never should have let him drop down to the Championship. He's got the last laugh because he's now got the opportunity to lead us into Europe if he carries on playing as well as he has today from right back Ryman. Little bit dodgy there. Got away with it though. And Tanganga, who has been far more involved in today's game than I would like. It suggests there's been far too much in the way of attacking football from Southampton. Gudger with another free kick. This time, I don't even know who that is. It's Occo Flex, and he's scored. And that was a weird one. We've gone to VAR. Skuck has fouled someone, I think. Yeah, Skuck's pushed the goalkeeper, so it's not been given. It was a weird anticlimactic celebration, and it just looked like nothing was ever going to be given. Tanganga, once again on the ball. Ryman, once again not being dodgy. I think Hilson would have conceded a couple of goals now with just general dodginess from those positions. Skuck is in again, and Skuck, I think, was offside. It's been given as a free kick. Skuck is struggling a little bit today. I think we're going to bring on Vanna and give him a little bit longer today up front. And I do want to have a look at Vivas as well. So I think I might just bring him on for Cerner and do those substitutions that I mentioned in the first half. Certainly Vivas for Cerner, although Cerner's a better player for now, Vivas is the one who's ours, who we want to make sure I don't forget he exists while we're developing a player for Manchester City to then use against us. We could be developing our own young up-and-coming box-to-box midfielder. So we probably need to focus in on that a little bit. Good challenge there from Vivas. And Vanna, I just want him to start scoring some goals. I know he's not started a game yet, but the longer he goes without... I know it's only his second substitute appearance, but the longer he goes without scoring, the more danger he's got of turning into a Fraser Hornby, which I guess isn't a massive issue because we sold him for a 10 times profit. If we do that with Vanna, he's going for £70 million at some point. He's in here and it's just gone sort of high and wide. When you miss, you've got to miss with style. Shall we finish things off with 10 minutes of passion? It seems a little bit risky, but it is a game that we should be winning, really, looking at that league table. Denton's sort of hesitated a little bit there, but he's won the ball back. This is what I'm saying about Denton. Superb defensive play. Vanna now plays it into Gudger. We've got a proper counter-attack going here. If Gudger can get past his man, he can't. Come on, let's show some passion. We've got 10 men on the ropes here. We need to find a way to grab a win, or at the very least stop them from doing the same. Stevens across brilliantly to cover. Stockbridge has hesitated there though, but it ends up with Panzo and Denton again, who's looking up, deciding who he's going to pick out for a pass. It ends up going to Williams. Williams crossing over to Stevens, who's joined in the attack again, gives it back out to Williams, who now has room to pick a proper cross out, but instead lets the guy just come and tackle him. But the cross does come over this time, and Vanna's there, and Vanna has his first goal in the Barnsley shirt. We're looking at the ref again though. What is happening here? Ross McCrory's just come on for Southampton. They've brought a defensive midfielder on for a striker, a defensive midfielder who is also a LOLLUJO legend, playing in both series last year, including being a World Cup winning captain for Scotland when he was at Sevilla, but then also struggling to get in the home team when he arrived in that save. So he's a bit hit and miss, Ross McCrory, but he's just come on for Southampton, which suggests they're happy with a 1-1 for them to take off a striker and bring him on, which means we should really be going for the jugular. Stockbridge now, back to Tanganga, who's looking to release Occo Flex on the right-hand side. Can he get the crossover? He can, but it can't beat the first man. Falls to Stockbridge, though, who tries to find Denton, and it can't quite get there, but using the man advantage, again, they're just kicking the ball clear for space, and we are fairly relentless at the moment. Occo Flex flicks onto Gudger. It's a good last-ditch challenge. We're properly going for this. It would be nice to see us get something for our trouble. Let's get creative. I thought I'd already asked for passion, but perhaps I didn't click it properly. Stevens with the throw. Finds Flex. I think that's a corner. Is it a corner? How is that not a corner? You're telling me that hit one of my players and just went out? Idiots. Right. We've still got potentially like 10 minutes of this game remaining with added time. And it's pretty much turned into show full match mode. Because we're just seeing everything. Because there's opportunities for goals at both ends. And now we finally drift out of the highlight. And there's still 3 minutes left, though, as we rejoin the game deep into the 91st minute. Williams should have done better there. He's let Janusaj come past him, but Ryman keeps hold of it. And I think that probably is that now. That has been a pretty end-to-end, exciting 1-1. But I can't help but think it's a game we should have won. So I'll criticise them just a smidgen. And they've responded well to it. We're still in 7th place. There's still a little bit of a gap between us and everybody chasing us. Like I say, Europa League will be fun. It's not essential, but we'll do something we don't do very often. I think we'll come back for some big games because I normally don't bother showing them because we just get battered in them, and I'd rather not show them. But we'll do Chelsea and Man City tomorrow, I think, because then that gives us 4 games: Chelsea, Man City, another 3 games or so, and then we finish the season off maybe with a Europa League push. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.